Welcome to our channel, The Thinking Cosmos. Today we will analyze the famous debate that surfaced on the internet recently between Javed Akhtar and Mufti Shamail Nadwi. Does God exist? Analyzing the Javed Akhtar versus Mufti Shamail debate. The question that defines civilization. Does God exist? This single question has shaped laws, wars, art, morality, science, and civilizations. It has inspired breathtaking acts of compassion and terrifying acts of violence. For some, God is the deepest truth of reality. For others, God is humanity's greatest illusion. Recently, this ancient question returned to the spotlight through a public debate between Javed Akhtar, a poet and outspoken atheist, and Mufti Shamail, an Islamic scholar. But this debate is not really about Islam versus atheism. It is not about poetry versus theology. It is not about who spoke better. It is about how humans search for truth. Tonight we slow everything down. We remove applause, interruptions, and emotion, and we examine the ideas beneath the arguments. Before the debate, two very different ways of seeing reality. Before discussing God, we must ask a deeper question. What counts as knowledge? The rationalist worldview, Javed Akhtar. This worldview rests on a simple principle. If something is real, it should leave evidence. Its foundations: science, empirical observation, logic, human experience. In this framework, claims must be testable, beliefs must be justified, authority is questioned. God, angels, revelation, afterlife, none of these can be verified, so they are placed outside knowledge and into belief. The theological worldview, Mufti Shamail. This worldview begins elsewhere. It says, reality is not limited to matter. Truth is not limited to measurement. Reason has limits. In Islamic theology, God is not inside the universe. God is the reason the universe exists. Revelation is knowledge, not mythology. Science explains creation. Theology explains existence itself. From this view, asking for physical proof of God is like asking for a ruler to measure love. Let's now go carefully through Akhtar's reasoning. Argument 1. The burden of proof. Akhtar's most consistent stance. I do not deny God. I simply see no reason to believe. This is critical. He is not claiming God does not exist. He is saying belief requires justification. In science, we don't believe until evidence appears. We reject unfalsifiable claims. God, by definition, cannot be tested, cannot be falsified, cannot be observed. Therefore, from a scientific lens, God is not a theory, but an assumption. Argument 2. Religion as historical product. Akhtar points to history. Thousands of religions, thousands of gods, conflicting truths. Each religion claims certainty, each contradicts others. This suggests religion evolves with culture. Belief spreads socially. Faith is inherited, not discovered. If God wanted belief to be universal, why design such confusion? Argument 3. The moral objection to God. This is not an intellectual argument alone. It is an emotional one. Akhtar asks, why do innocent children suffer? Why does nature kill without mercy? Why do the wicked succeed? If God is all-powerful and loving, why design such a world? This is not mockery. It is a cry for justice. Argument 4. Morality without religion. Akhtar challenges a common claim. Without God, morality collapses. But history shows atheists can be moral. Religious people can commit crimes. Empathy, cooperation, fairness exist even among animals. So morality may come from evolution, social necessity, human empathy, not divine command.
Argument 3. The moral objection to God. This is not an intellectual argument alone. It is an emotional one. Akhtar asks, why do innocent children suffer? Why does nature kill without mercy? Why do the wicked succeed? If God is all-powerful and loving, why design such a world? This is not mockery. It is a cry for justice. Argument 4. morality without religion. Akhtar challenges a common claim. Without God, morality collapses. But history shows atheists can be moral. Religious people can commit crimes. Empathy, cooperation, fairness exist even among animals. So morality may come from evolution, social necessity, human empathy, not divine command. Section 3. Mufti Shamail's response, deeply examined. Now we move to the theological framework. Argument 1. Existence demands explanation. Mufti Shamail begins with a philosophical question. Why does anything exist at all? Science explains how the universe behaves, not why it exists. The universe began to exist, is not eternal, is contingent. A contingent thing requires a necessary source. That source must exist by necessity, not dependence. This is what theology calls God. Argument 2. God is not a scientific object. Mufti Shamail emphasizes, God is not a particle, a force, a being inside space. God is the cause of space, the source of laws, the ground of existence. Demanding scientific proof of God misunderstands what God is claimed to be. Argument 3. Morality needs an anchor beyond humans. Without God, morality becomes negotiable. Power defines right. Justice becomes relative. If society decides murder is acceptable, on what basis do we say it is wrong? The Islamic claim, moral truths exist independently of opinion because they come from a moral source beyond humanity. Argument 4. Suffering, free will, and meaning. Islam does not deny suffering. It reframes it. Life is not meant to be fair. It is meant to be meaningful. Free will allows evil. Tests allow growth. Afterlife allows justice. From this view, suffering does not disprove God. It presupposes moral expectations because God exists. Section 4. Why they can never convince each other. Here lies the heart of the issue. Akhtar says, if it cannot be proven, I withhold belief. Mufti Shamail says, if everything requires proof, reason collapses. One trusts empiricism, the other trusts metaphysics. They disagree not on God, but on what kind of reality we inhabit. This is why debates like this feel endless. Section 5. What this debate reveals about us. At its core, this debate reveals something deeply human. We are creatures who fear meaninglessness, fear blind faith, fear being wrong. Some choose belief to anchor existence. Some choose skepticism to protect truth. Both positions arise from intellectual honesty, not stupidity. So, does God exist? The debate doesn't answer it. Philosophy doesn't settle it. Science doesn't reach it. The answer depends on what you trust, what you fear, what kind of universe you believe you live in. Some live believing God is real. Some live believing God is human invention. Some live forever questioning. And perhaps that questioning itself is the most honest response to existence.